It's London right here on your Classic Metal Show, featuring our good friend Nader DePriest on lead vocal. And London getting ready to release a brand new studio album after all these years.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, and apparently Nader and the boys are working with longtime record guy Mike Varney.
Are they? I did not know that.
Yeah, so that's basically what the impetus behind London releasing a new record is, because Mike Varney is helping them out.
All right.
And another guy that I spoke to earlier this week, which I'll post that interview for Friday, is I talked to Donnie Hillier.
Oh, yeah.
Vocalist of the band Trauma. And Trauma's claim to fame in the very early days was that they featured Cliff Burton on bass prior to him joining Metallica.
Right, sure.
And I guess Mike Varney is also behind their latest release as well.
That's a good record, man.
It is a good record. It has a lot of great elements in it. If you listen to it, you can definitely pick out a lot of the hard rock thrash elements of anywhere from Metallica to Megadeth to Iron Maiden to Halloween. Mm-hmm. You get a lot of those elements in that record, and every song is different.
Yeah, it's very, very good stuff, man. I was pleasantly surprised. The last record was okay, the one from 2015 or 14, whatever it was.
Right.
But this one is, like, really fucking good.
It is. And I talked to Donnie for about a half an hour, and I made mention that each one of the songs are completely different from the last one.
Right.
And not that they're copying anyone or ripping anybody off, but they borrow elements of so many of the classic hard rock and metal bands that they're very identifiable in their sound.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing that interview, actually. That should be good. Was it a good interview?
It was a good interview, and he's a huge fan of the Classic Metal Show because we were one of the first people, or one of the first shows to, feature them when they made their comeback after like a 30-year hiatus.
Right.
And he remembers that. So
well, leave it to us to be the ones, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Interviews have been fun lately, dude. Did you? I'm sure you probably didn't, but did you happen to catch the one that I did with Johnny?
Yes,
Johnny
absolutely. That guy there, I was kind of envious that you had the opportunity to interview him. I realize a lot of these take place during the day.
Right.
But Johnny Gioli, obviously, he's a very notable vocalist. Mm-hmm. And, to have a guy like that on the show, to me, even though, he's not a household name.
Sure.
But anybody who is a fan of hard rock and metal knows Johnny Gioli's voice.
Right, sure. He was, dude, I know it says interview on the description, but it was barely an interview. It was just him and I shooting the shit. It felt like, anyway. That was a good one, man. Yeah. I really enjoyed talking to him.
Well, when guys just kind of let it all hang out,
mm-hmm.
It's fun.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. So, yeah, I've been doing a ton of interviews lately. I'm trying to get more that are at night. It's just everybody wants to do them at fucking noon.
Yeah, I get it.
Believe me, I wish I wasn't doing 4 a week, because I always feel like you don't get to do any of the cool ones. But, I try. I do try. Whenever they say pick a time, I always say 8 o'clock. I always say 8 o'clock Eastern to see what they say.
They're not doing it that late at night.
Well, and that's what I usually get is when most of the time when the interviews come in, they come in on a schedule and they're like, yeah, they're available from 1 to 4 or something like that. And then, then I got to do them. But if they throw out like, oh, so-and-so is available, let us know when. I always say 8 p.m. Eastern and try and get them to you. It just doesn't happen that way.
Yeah, well, I get it. I get it. One of the ones that I had pursued for literally 6 weeks, mm-hmm. and it just did not happen. I was trying to get Michelle Cath, the daughter of Terry Cath, former Chicago guitarist, mm-hmm. back on the show to talk about the release of her, documentary.
Sure.
Talking about her father, Terry Cath, and
right.
exchanged emails and things with her personally, and I also exchanged emails with whoever it is that's representing her through FilmRise. I think it's a FilmRise production.
Okay.
And we're back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it's just like, well, come on. I mean, I can do it anytime after this time of the day. You're on the West Coast. That'll be 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I can't do it that time.
Just got to make dinner.
Yeah. And it's just like, okay, how about any time during the weekend? Well,
No.
I got this and this and this. It's like, okay, obviously you're not interested in doing this.
Yeah, all right. Then don't.
Because if this was a priority, you'd be able to scratch out 30 minutes with me.
Right. Then don't promote your damn documentary.
Yeah. And I enjoyed it. I sent you the link to it. I don't know if you got a chance to watch it or not.
Yeah, I watched it. It was cool. I mean, I'm not the Chicago fan that you are, so I was a little. It was interesting, but for me, it was like, okay, that happened to that guy.
Yeah.
But speaking of Chicago, did you happen to listen to the Chicago 2 Live that got released on Friday?
I did not.
It's not bad. It's pretty good.
All right. Do you have it, or where is it? Is it on Spotify?
Yeah, it's on all the
all right,
things.
I'll have to listen to it on Spotify.
Yeah, it's good. It's a pretty good listen. I listened to it yesterday.
All right. Well, getting back to, I found the headphones, by the way.
Okay.
For those of you who are gear nuts out there who actually like audio gear, if you go over to bswusa.com,
yeah,
they featured a new set of headphones, and I was reading the reviews on it, and I thought, it's well worth the $100 investment here.
Okay.
So I went ahead and bought them, and I'm really pleased with them. The name of the headphones are called Bear, B-E-Y-E-R, Bear Dynamic DT240 Pros is what they're called. B-E-Y-E-R Dynamic DT240 Pro. And they're a closed headphone for studio, broadcast, and portable applications.
Oh, those are small.
Yeah.
Surprising how small they are.
Yeah, they're really nice. They're comfortable. They're light. But, boy, when you put them on your ears and you've got nothing playing, it's like being in a cone of silence.
Nice.
I mean, it really is. So,
they'll probably last twice as long, too, because when one side wears out from the cable, you can just switch to the other side.
Yeah.
Turn them around. Nice.
Yeah. So I'm going to send you a pair of those.
Thank you.
Because I'm a nice guy.
Christmas for Chris.
Yeah.
Like it.
But I was really impressed. I thought, okay, I'm gonna throw a $100 at this and see if it's worth the investment. Believe me, it's worth the investment.
Nice.
Very nice.
I look forward to getting them.
Yeah. So I'll have those sent to your house this week.
All right. Awesome.
All right. Well, speaking of documentaries.
Yes, sir.
I've been on the documentary kick the last couple of weeks.
Me too.
And one of them, well, a couple of them, but one of them that stands out, it's kind of haunting for me only because I grew up in this era. And two of these things happened as a kid for me.
Okay.
That as a kid, you don't pay much attention to the detail as to what goes on. And now that you're older and, you kind of have insight to the world and things, to go back in time 40 plus years and relive some of this stuff that you were aware of, but you didn't really grasp the whole scope of what was going on.
Right.
These were compelling documentaries for me.
Okay.
I shared them with you. These are both on the A&E channel. The one that was just like, holy shit, was the one with David Cassidy.
Yeah.
David Cassidy, for those of you who may or may not be aware, he made his popularity as David Partridge.
Right, sure.
On the Partridge Family, which aired from the late 60s into the early 70s. But seeing the footage of his life that blew up to a major arena or even stadium rock star.
Sure.
As a kid, I was only 7 or 8 at the time.
Right.
So I didn't grasp the whole scope as to how popular David Cassidy was
right.
on a performance level. But this guy was shooting the Partridge Family during the week, and then on the weekend he would jet out to Wembley Stadium and play 2 shows at Wembley Stadium, or play 2 shows at Madison Square Garden or something like that. And then jet back home and, continue filming the Partridge Family.
Right. Wow.
And it was amazing to see that, because again, I didn't know what a mega star he was.
Sure.
And here's the amazing thing. Today, in the day and age of the internet, and, everybody knows everything about the Kardashians or, whoever, Kanye West or any kind of music star, Beyonce or whoever. Those people are big or famous due to their social media presence.
Sure, of course.
That has helped them. Not that maybe they don't have a certain talent or demographic that they appeal to, but David Cassidy was doing this way before the internet.
Sure.
And the only way that people could find out about a guy like that was either commercial radio or fan magazines like Tiger Beat or Teen Beat or whatever. And the fact that these people, whether they were teenagers or whatever, they found out about these music artists or actors or whatever through the purchasing of physical media.
Right.
And obviously that really isn't a big factor these days because everything's free on the internet these days.
Right. Yeah, I saw Best Buy officially stop selling CDs.
Yeah. So, back then, this David Cassidy was going out to stadiums, packing it with teenage girls.
Like that. I mean, that's terrible.
Who basically had to find out about him through reading, some teenage magazine or hearing it on some commercial outlet.
Right.
That in itself was, an era that is never to return.
Right.
But I think the most fascinating part about it is that prior to his death, about a year or so prior to his death, he had made the circuit or the rounds to the various outlets, whether it was like, being interviewed or whatever. And he claimed that he was suffering from Parkinson's disease.
Right.
And he said that, due to his Parkinson's disease, he was no longer going to perform. He was wrapping it up. He knew that, this was probably going to be the death of him.
Sure.
But once he passed away, once he died, which we covered here on the show, because who was he in a race between him and who to die first?
Oh, I don't remember. Somebody else.
We had our money on 2 different people.
I don't remember who though.
They were both very ill.
Right. For the life of me, I can't remember who.
But this was last November. But anyway, now that this documentary is out, the truth being told, David Cassidy did not have Parkinson's disease. He just had liver disease because he, and I'm going to use the term that really upset some people a few years ago, he drank himself to death.
He most certainly did.
So even though he went to the doctor due to his physical problems that were brought on by his drinking,
right?
He was claiming, I haven't had a drink in 5 years. I haven't drank in a long time. This must be Parkinson's or something. Well, basically, he was hiding his drinking.
Yeah.
And he continued to drink until it caused him liver and kidney failure, and he died.
Yeah. He had the shakes, and he got away with calling it Parkinson's.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and this is probably the most, and I hate to sound faggy when I say this, but this is the most heart-wrenching part of the whole documentary.
Okay.
He allowed this documentary to film him, could barely get out of the car.
Right.
And when he would walk from the car to the studio or wherever he walked like a crippled up old man.
Right.
And he was only, 67?
Yeah.
And this guy looked like he was, a lifelong NFL player who his body got battered or something.
Right.
Like he was stove up from arthritis or something. But he was just fucked up.
Right.
This guy was messed up, and I guess right near the end, at the end of this documentary, just kept muttering, "I did it to myself. I did it to myself."
Yeah, well, he did.
And he did. So if you're any kind of a fan or even just have a curiosity about it, I highly recommend that.
Yeah.
You saw it, yeah?
Yeah, I did see it. And yeah, his death was tragic. But in the end, wouldn't you take his life? I would.
Oh, the guy lived the life of a king.
I mean, this guy lived like a king. This guy must have fucked 20,000 super hot women and partied his ass off. I would take that and die maybe 10 years earlier. He should have probably put a bullet in his head like 10 years before, but I would take his life. That's yeah, he died a little young, but so what? He still made it to 67.
He did, but it was, to me, because I literally had not seen him in years.
Yeah.
To see this guy just crippled up.
Yeah.
And just looking like, for somebody who's 67, he looked like he was 90.
Yeah, meanwhile your dad looks more healthy.
Oh, he did. He does. Absolutely. And my dad gets around way better than he does. But to hide his alcoholism and just like, yeah, it's Parkinson's, it's just like, but in the end, it was just because he still drank till the end.
You realize if you cut the pussy off of every girl that he fucked, there's probably a ton of pussy, literally, that he fucked. A ton. 1 ton of pussy meat that David Cassidy fucked. I would take that with an early death.
Right.
Fuck yeah. And how many, David, he was famous from the time he was 15 or 14?
Yeah, he started very early in little bit acting roles in the early 60s.
Yeah. So do you think I'm probably I'm probably close to right saying that he probably banged 10 to 20,000 chicks?
Well, again, if he was as active as that, because I know that he got married a couple of times. I'm assuming he was faithful to his wife. I know he was married to somebody who she's just an interestingly, she's kind of a tawdry, hot chick. Kay Lenz. Are you familiar with her at all?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's like a dirty, hot girl. She isn't especially great looking, but she's just she's like a dirty woman.
Yeah, she's the combination between hot and a Schleestack.
A Schleestack.
There's somewhere in there like she's got like a weird face, kind of like her mouth.
Yeah,
kind
her
of
mouth.
Like her mouth looks like a Schleestack. So if you took a Schleestack's mouth and put it on a hot babe, that's what you get. You get Kay Lenz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I always thought she was hot in an interesting way.
Yeah, she is.
She's not beautiful, but she's just sort of got like a hotness about her.
Yeah, she's a Hollywood 7.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
All right.
A Hollywood 7.
All right.
Yeah. But he cheated on all these chicks.
Well,
that's why he has 15 marriages or whatever.
Of course.
I mean, dude, these guys, and if you really think about it, and women should get this through their head, if you've got the opportunity to bang 1,000 chicks, and you still have that opportunity when you meet that person, they're going to keep on banging chicks. That's not going to stop. Oh, well, you're the one. Your pussy's so good that I'm not going to explore the other 10,000 that are going to be at me every single time I step out of the hotel room.
Right.
No, of course, you're going to keep fucking chicks. Come on, man. I mean, I'm just thinking, if this guy banged, let's say he did 10,000, I think that's probably realistic. How many of them do you think were regular girl 5 or below?
I'm going to say probably maybe 10% of them.
No way would I think that many.
You think that's high, huh?
10,000?
5%?
I think 5.
5 out of the 10,000.
Yes. I mean, this guy had chicks waiting by the hundreds everywhere he went. What did he do? Go for the average chick? You know, I mean, to get a regular girl 5, he would have to purposely go out of his way to pass hot chick just to get average chick.
Sure.
He would have to purposely do that. 10%. You thinking 1,000 of them? No way. Absolutely, dude. He could have still drawn better than most of us could the day before he died.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
He's still David Cassidy. Some fucking supermodel suck his dick just to be the last one to do it. That'll be her story that she writes a 300-page book on.
Sure.
You know, she'll be the new Bobby Brown.
Yeah, David Cassidy was on his deathbed and I sucked his dick.
I took his last load. The story of whatever, super hot chick.
Nice. So there's a guy who lived the life, but boy, in the end, it was not pretty.
Look, no matter how great you live, you always pay for it.
Yeah.
You know, there's like a status quo that most people live, the regular people, all of us regular people live. It's just kind of a status quo. You get through your life, you go start to finish, nothing too great, nothing too horrible, whatever. If you have anything on either side of that, then you get rewarded or paid back, depending on what it is, you know, accordingly. I truthfully believe that, and I know that's fucking weirdo fucking karma type bullshit, but I believe that, man. I look at the shit that I've been through, and I'm like, man, it's no wonder I've had a couple of really good years. It's no wonder I have a couple of good businesses and books that sell real well and a lot of people that listen to me on the radio, because I got fucking burned to death. It's that fucking pendulum swinging the other way, paying me back a little bit.
Right.
And people that just go through life, you know, the regular Joe that goes to high school and gets a job and works for 40 years and retires, yeah, he gets the average wife that makes average food. You know, every once in a great while, she gets a little bit of perk in her to fucking suck his dick right. And, and then the next day she complains a little more than the day before to even it all out. That's regular life. There's a karmic quality to regular life.
Yeah, it's called the ebb and flow.
Yeah, and I truthfully believe that.
So if you have a high ebb, you're going to get a better flow.
Yeah, of course. Or vice versa. If you start out bad, you get rewarded.
Right.
You know, it just happens that way.
Sure. Well, speaking of wives, the other documentary that I checked out, again, this happened when I was 14 when this took place. Mm-hmm. About 14. So again, it was a major news story. I remember when it happened, but again, not realizing the whole scope of this. I think it was called the Jonestown Wives.
It's called Jonestown, the Women Behind the Massacre.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
And,
I watched it.
Yeah. And again, this happened, what, in 78?
Yes.
All right. And if you weren't aware, this cult leader, Jim Jones, led a bunch of his followers from the San Francisco area down to Guyana, which is in South America.
Right.
And basically 900, almost 1,000 people perished.
Yeah.
At this thing, and they were just all dead.
He fed them fucking cyanide.
Yeah, cyanide Kool-Aid.
But they drank it.
Well, that's true, but they were following like sheep. But see, we use a term today that probably most people don't know where that originated from. Sure, it's like, you're drinking the Kool-Aid.
Right. That's where it came from.
That's where it came from. That's where it originated from.
It sure did.
So if you're not aware of the whole Jonestown massacre that took place 40 years ago, to me, it seemed like, I remember seeing the news reports just like it was yesterday.
Right.
But to see that documentary, and a very well done documentary, because they used a lot of footage. Mm-hmm. To see that as an adult and kind of get a more grasp and the understanding of what was going on there, it was just like, holy shit. How could people be so gullible?
how creepy was it when they had the audio of him saying, "Don't listen to the screams, they're not in pain." Meanwhile, you hear these kids screaming because the fucking cyanide is eating through their fucking stomach.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. It was pretty horrific, and just to think that many people would buy into that. Mm-hmm. And just blindly follow.
Yeah, they followed him right to the grave. And then he didn't even do it, did he? He didn't drink the Kool-Aid. Didn't he take a bullet?
Yeah, he took a bullet. I believe he took a bullet, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't do it himself. Fucking pussy. If you're going to... Just like Koresh. I don't know, did you watch that one?
I did watch that one, which I got a lot of mixed thoughts on that.
Okay, why? You don't believe it?
No. I believe it. It's just that I don't think our government had any right to go in there.
Nah, they didn't, but...
Not at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they definitely didn't, but they did, so, shit happened.
A lot of shit happened.
Yeah, I mean, that was... As somebody that has been burned to death and brought back to life, let me just tell you, that's not a fun way to go. Oof, that fucking had to suck. Just fucking sitting there, just waiting for it to come. At least with my shit, it just, boom, it happened.
Yeah.
Bang. It was an explosion. And the next thing I knew, I didn't have any fucking skin left. I can't imagine sitting there watching the goddamn flames come down the hallway knowing I'm going to be dead in about a minute.
Right.
Fuck that.
Yeah. Well, I remember the upheaval that was going on at that time when, Clinton had Janet Reno running the show.
Right.
And that whole Ruby Ridge thing took place.
Right, yeah.
And the David Koresh thing took place.
Right.
And the Oklahoma bombing took place. Mm-hmm. These were all related. Not directly related, but one result was kind of connected to the other, and this all happened on Clinton's watch.
Yep.
Because of the policies that they had in place at the time.
Yeah. It's bad, man.
A lot of that should have never taken place.
Mm-hmm.
But it did. It's history. Yeah. But yeah, seeing some of that stuff in documentary form, and what amazes me is the time and the effort, and I give credit to our good friend Bob Nalbandian, who is also a documentarian.
Yeah.
To put this amount of footage together.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, it's just, some of these documentaries are 2 hours long.
Right.
And the amount of interviews that they do and the amount of archival footage that they present.
Yeah, they have to go through.
That is amazing to me.
It is. Dude, that Waco one, how funny was it when they started piping the music and shit at him, and then he fucking turned on his own sound system and started singing back to them?
Right.
That shit was funny. I was like, wow, look at this guy.
Fight fire with fire!
Yeah, dude, those A&E documentaries, have you watched more of them than that?
I have. I've been poking around there. The one that I'm on right now, this is not on A&E.
Yeah.
But they've got, I think it's a 7-part series on Netflix right now of the Vietnam War.
Oh, yeah, the Ken Burns thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I watched it.
I'm in about the 3rd episode of that right now.
Yeah, that's fucked up, too.
I'm just so glued to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, I love documentaries, and I think I watched every one of them that are on the A&E thing, that are on the app. And some of them are good, some of them are not. Like, you know which one I was really surprised that I did not like at all? And you'll be surprised by this. Did you watch the one about John Gotti Jr.?
I saw it, but I didn't watch it yet.
What a bag of shit. It's produced by John Gotti Jr. And it just fucking sucks his ass. Like he didn't do anything wrong ever.
All right.
And I was like, dude, stop it. Just stop it. You were a fucking criminal too. Don't try to pretend. Just because he quit, because he didn't want to go to jail when he saw his dad all falling apart. That doesn't mean that he wasn't a fucking scumbag too.
Right.
But they presented it like he's not a scumbag. It's like, dude, come on, man.
But that is by far definitely my most favorite TV watching.
Of what the A&E stuff?
Yeah, watching the documentaries.
I love it, dude. I spent, because I've been laid up, I watched all of these A&E ones, and some of them were really good. Did you watch the Lacey Peterson one?
I saw that too, and I haven't watched that yet.
That's a good one. 5-parter.
Oh, well, I definitely will watch that then.
That's a fucking good one. Just this guy, dude, it was so great, man. So he's when the story got big, he was still fucking that Amber Fry chick.
Right.
And that Amber Fry chick was such a goddamn ditz that she didn't even see any of it on the news or anything.
Well, see, again, these are people who do not pay attention to, what's going on or their surroundings, or not aware.
No. So some friends of hers told her about it. Told her, hey, isn't this the guy you're fucking? And she was like, oh, shit, it is. So then she contacted the police, and the police set up her phone to record anytime this guy would call. So they have these audio tapes of, like, there's one, he was at a candlelight vigil.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he calls her and says, hey, Happy New Year. I'm right next to the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, I've heard that one, actually. I remember when that happened.
What a dick. Oh, man, can you imagine walking into court and they start playing that shit?
Yeah, did you record that during your wife's candlelight vigil?
Isn't that the point where you say, Your Honor, I'd like to change my plea? I can't win this in court. There's no amount of evidence that's not going to make me look like a total fucking dick that killed his wife and is happy about it.
Right.
Let me just do my time.
How bad do you need to get out of your marriage to where you plan everything out around Christmas?
Yeah.
And pretend you're going fishing and all this other shit, and tie her to a brick and send her to the bottom of a lake.
Yeah, and then the what's his name? They hire Mark Garagos, who just starts and he says this in this documentary. He doesn't say it outright, but he kind of says it. He doesn't have any idea at all what could have happened. He just starts making up scenarios. He literally is like, well, there was another death 4 years before where the body was also missing the feet, hands, and head. Maybe it was that person striking again.
Right.
And he had nothing to back this up that it was related. Nothing. Except for 2 bodies showed up the same way.
Right.
That was all he had. But, well, that's reasonable doubt. And he even says that. He's like, look, I don't have to prove anything. I just have to create reasonable doubt. It's like, so basically, if you just invent any fucking scenario, that's reasonable doubt.
Sure.
It's like, what a jizzball. But yet Mark Garagos, one of the richest lawyers in the world, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
He's a big name guy. And yeah, he just was like, yeah, I just threw that out there. See what happens.
Well, the thing is you got to create doubt.
Well, he was certainly creating it. He was writing a fucking fictional novel. He was just inventing all kinds of shit. Well, it was these guys that were parked across the street. Well, it might have been another criminal from 4 years ago. It might have been some guy from 7 years ago. I mean, just inventing all kinds of bullshit. It was crazy.
Well,
yeah.
That's what they're paid to do, is to get their client off.
Yeah. But good documentary, The Murder of Lacey Peterson.
All right. Well, I will check that out. Well, speaking of documentaries, our documentarian Bob Nalbandian hit me up.
Okay.
And he says, hey, Neeley, I know you're a huge Evel Knievel fan.
Right.
Warren, the executive producer for the Inside Metal series, will soon be releasing Knievel-lution.
Wow.
Son of Evel.
Whoa.
Which is the story of Robbie Knievel and his dad.
Nice.
They just put up the trailer. I'll make damn sure you get a DVD when it's out.
All right.
So supposedly it's out this fall.
Okay.
And I said, well, since you're a friend, and I tried to reach out to Robbie when they had that Chasing Evil documentary.
Yeah.
Out on, on Amazon?
Mm-hmm.
And I could not make connections at all because I got several replies back from different people saying that Robbie is hard to track down.
Right.
So I said to Bob Nobandi, and I said, hey, well, maybe if your friend is, got contact with Robbie, maybe we can get him on the show.
All right.
So we'll see if that happens.
Are you going to watch The Big Jump tomorrow?
Well, see that I'm gonna play this trailer real quick.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about that too.
Okay.
Because that's another thing that I'm surprised about.
Okay.
But here's a little bit of a trailer. It's like 1 minute long. This is the trailer for the Robbie Knievel story, the life, the legend, the book, Knievelution, the Son of Evil. It's going to be out in the fall.
Okay.
The glory, the spectacle, the horror, the victory, the life, the legend. Knievelution, Son of Evil, the Robbie Knievel story. Available on Amazon and Audible.com this fall.
All right, so there you go.
Should have had you voice it.
Yeah.
My goodness. Talk about regular guy voice. Holy cow.
So that's due out this fall.
Well, that'll be cool.
So I'm kind of looking for that.
Yeah.
Now, there's another stunt guy.
Yeah.
And he wants to recreate Evel Knievel's stunts for the History Channel.
Mm-hmm. For A&E.
Right. Well,
Yeah,
I think it's for the History Channel, isn't it?
I think it's on A&E. I think it's on A&E tomorrow.
Okay.
I think. I don't know.
The guy's name is Travis Pastrana.
Yeah.
He's going to replicate 3 of Evel's jumps.
Right.
And it was always to my understanding that once Robbie successfully jumped the fountains, which I was at back in 1989, that they were no longer going to allow anyone to attempt the jump of Caesar's Palace or the fountains at Caesar's Palace.
Okay.
But apparently they've decided that this was worthy of doing again.
Right.
And this Travis Pastrana...
You're right, by the way, History Channel.
Yeah, it is the History Channel.
Yep.
He's gonna jump the fountains at Caesar's Palace.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently it's been roughly 50 years since Evel Knievel jumped the fountains at Caesar's Palace on a flat track motorcycle and basically was carried away in a bag.
Right, because he broke everything.
Travis Allen Pastrana of Annapolis, Maryland, often referred to as the modern-day Evel Knievel. I've never even heard of this guy.
Yeah.
Never heard of him I never heard of him until this week.
Apparently that's not a big legacy.
Yeah. He will be attempting to replicate the stunt and 2 others for which the brash predecessor was known, all on the same day in Las Vegas as part of Evel Live, a 3-hour tribute to the Daredevil and pop culture icon that airs live on the History Channel.
Right.
Pastrana was talking at high RPMs when he paused for a moment of levity. Dude, he said, cranking back on the throttle, I'll wear a cape.
Okay.
That was levity, I guess.
Yes, I'm laughing here.
Yeah. Even Evel Knievel lived in Las Vegas for many years after mending and appearing on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, inspiring a line of transcendent toys, Sky Cycles. He was 69 when he died in 2007, leaving a like-minded imitator such as Pastrana to carry on his legacy. In a made-for-TV event, he would have no doubt admired the 11-time X Game gold medalist. Pastrana will attempt to jump at least 52 flattened cars, and then 16 Greyhound buses, which that would be a feat, because Knievel jumped 14 at Kings Island in Ohio.
Right.
Back in 1975.
Mm-hmm.
So what were we talking, 43 years ago?
Yeah.
So 43 years later, is that such a big deal?
Well, it's big enough to get a TV deal.
Well, my point is that Knievel did this 43 years ago on a Harley Davidson.
Yeah, with no safety anything built into it.
Yeah. So I think in 43 years, I'm sure we figured out some safety precautions.
Yeah, but be honest, aren't you just hoping that he just fucking biffs like Evel did? I am.
Not really. I don't really care.
I'm watching. Are you going to watch it?
I don't have History Channel.
I think it's live on the app.
Okay, I'll look for it.
I think it's live on the app.
All right.
I'm going to watch it, and I'm gonna happily cheer if he fucking really repeats Evel. That's what I'm hoping, is that he does an exact replication of Evel's jump and just fucking breaks every bone in his body on the way down.
Right. Well, here's the thing, and this is why it's not a big deal to me personally.
Yeah.
We're talking about Evel Knievel, one of the originators here, basically making these jumps with a street bike.
Yeah.
40 plus years ago.
Right.
Today, not a big deal.
Yeah, you want to do this right? Have him go somewhere in Vegas into a shop and just have somebody buy one on the spot. Fill it with gas and jump.
Yeah.
That would be badass. That would be real. This guy's got some bike that's probably been tested by scientists for the last 5 fucking years. Right?
That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's what I'm saying. Want to do it right? Just fucking stop at fucking, Lost My Money Harley and pick up a bike and okay, go.
Right.
Here's your soft tail, dickhead. Get out there. And just do it.
Yeah.
That I'd like to see.
Sure.
See the fucking front end all break off and shit when it hits. Kaboom!
Yeah. So anyway, he'll attempt to jump 52 flattened cars and then 16 Greyhound buses in a parking lot behind Planet Hollywood on Sunday afternoon, before making the short hop over to Caesars to fly over the fountains in a style fitting the gladiator of ancient Rome.
Mm-hmm.
Will it be thumbs up or thumbs down? Pastrana's Indian Scout FTR 750 will be a bit faster and lighter than Evel Knievel's rudimentary. See, he did not ride a Harley over the fountains.
No.
He rode a Triumph.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a little bit different. That was a Triumph street bike.
Right.
And he wasn't riding a Harley then.
Right.
So that's, for him to, compare his Indian Scout to what Evel was jumping the fountains with, back in 1969.
Right.
It's not the same.
He should be able to jump twice as far.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Was the challenge. It's 2018. You've had 43 years. We're going to add 43 feet.
Yeah.
That would be a jump.
There you go.
Just add 43 feet, 1 foot per year. That'll even the science out, wouldn't it?
You would think so.
He's going to jump so far over it that he's going to land halfway down the other side's ramp.
Well, Robbie jumped at fountains. He wasn't on a street bike. He was more on a dirt bike. But I was at the jump and I saw it, which is where I met Robbie. I got to go to the party after the jump at Caesar's Palace back in 1989.
Right.
But, it's not the same.
If this guy wants to do it right, he should do it just like Evel. He should start drinking shots at noon and then do it. Be all fucked up at 8 o'clock when he does it. Now,
right.
That would be impressive.
Sure.
Wouldn't that at least draw a little bit more of you? If he was doing it fucked up and he was going to drink like Evel did all day long and then do it, wouldn't you take your ass out to a bar that was showing it if you didn't have it in your house?
You would think so.
I would. If he was going to be all fucked up and then try it, now we're talking. That's something. Or have people shooting at him or something. That'd be good too. He's got to jump over and not get hit by something being shot at him. to push him off the bike or something. All of that could make this a really fun event. Instead, it's just going to be whoop, whoop, up, down, good. All right.
But see, here's my point. Robbie Knievel basically picked up the mantle where his dad left off.
Yeah.
So what does this Pastrana guy bring to the table that Robbie hasn't already done?
Nothing. Nothing at all. It's the only thing. Look, I'll be honest. The only reason anybody's watching this, there's two reasons. One, because it's just cool to watch motorcycles jump shit. Sorry, I know that's the kid in me coming out.
Yeah, but I'll agree with that. I'll completely agree with that. And if I'm home, I will watch it.
Yeah, it's just cool to see. That's the first thing. But let's be honest. Like everything else, the real reason you're watching is because you hope he fails.
Right.
You hope he fucking crashes and burns. Everybody, 99% of the people hope he crashes. They won't say it, but they believe it. It's the same reason you watch hockey. You don't watch hockey to see the intricate passing. You watch hockey to see somebody kick somebody else's ass.
Yeah, so to get into the brawl.
Yeah, there's 10 million people getting ready to watch the Stipe Cormier fight tonight. Why? Not because they want to see some excellent exhibition of pugilism, because they want to see these two guys beat the living fuck out of each other.
Exactly.
They want to see somebody get their head hit so fucking hard that they fall down asleep while still standing. That's why people are watching it. And that's why you'd watch this thing here. To watch this motherfucker bounce like a basketball off the goddamn street. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm going to watch it, and I hope it happens.
Yeah. My thought on this.
Yeah.
So many precautions have been taken. This guy's going to make all the jumps.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's going to do it. He's going to do it. He's going to do it safely. It's going to be successful. I have no doubt.
I have no doubt about it. I'm sure he's done a million of these in a row now for History Channel to even be willing to fucking front the insurance money that they'd have to pay to broadcast this shit.
I agree.
I mean, back in the old days, there was no Evel was a rebel.
He was. It's just like, Wide World of Sports covered Evel Knievel so often. It was just like, we don't know what the fuck's going to happen.
Yeah, he was going to show up somewhere. They sent a camera crew.
Right.
That was it. They didn't fucking have insurance or any of that shit. Or maybe they did, but see, there it is right there. That's what I'm hoping happens tomorrow. That's it. That's the same thing. That's the Fountains, right?
Yeah, that's the Fountains. That was his notoriety. That's what put him on the map, was that crash.
That's the landing I'm hoping for tomorrow. The agony of defeat, as they call it.
Yeah.
And that was the agony of defeat for many years on Wide World of Sports.
It was. They showed that every weekend.
Either that or that guy that really fucking bit it on the
ski slope.
Skis. Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy bit it so hard it looked like his body exploded.
Yeah. He just basically went like a tilt-a-whirl.
Yeah. He just and admit it, you loved it every week.
Of course.
Dude, when people biffed, you couldn't wait. Dude, I remember watching Wide World of Sports, and they had a fighter. I think his name was James Green. Don't hold me to this. This is how cool. I loved Wide World of Sports because, you had at the time. This is before ESPN, but Wide World of Sports, you had your football and your baseball and shit was on TV, but then you had Wide World of Sports, which was everything else, and it was shit like Evel Knievel jumping, and it was some crazy boxing shit and whatever. And do you remember this guy Green that was a boxer?
It doesn't ring a bell.
The thing that was awesome about this guy, he was a boxer and he was a murderer, literally a murderer. So all of his fights were in prison. And people would come to the prison to fight this guy.
Okay.
And I couldn't get enough of this guy because he was like a precursor to Tyson. He would get in the ring with these fucking guys and just murder them because he had nothing else to do but train every minute of the day.
And plus, what did he have to lose?
Yeah, he had nothing to lose. He could cheap shot. He didn't give a shit. He was in prison. So he was fine to kill you. And I couldn't watch enough of this guy. I think his name was James Green.
Okay.
I don't remember for sure, but Wide World of Sports was great for that kind of shit. They would have like the crazy, okay, today's going to be the one-legged ski slope or some shit where they would have people skiing down hills with one fucking ski and they'd just be wiping out everywhere. And I loved it. Wide World of Sports, I wish that would come back. I mean, they tried as the X Games, but it was too organized.
Yeah, but see, Wide World of Sports was the wild, wild west of sports.
It was.
You didn't know what you were going to see from week to week because it was unproven. It was not tested.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, we're going to see this guy jump this whatever.
Yeah.
And it may work, it may fail. And they're just like, holy fuck, it failed.
Yeah.
What were you feeling out there today? I'm going to the hospital. I'll talk to you when I get out.
Yeah, they'd interview him in the fucking emergency van, in the ambulance.
Of course.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved Wide World of Sports. I watched it. It was on Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was on. I watched it like every Sunday.
Of course.
The guy's name was James Scott.
Okay.
And he actually just died like 2 months ago. But yeah, he was the guy. James Scott.
Yeah. But the thing is that when you've got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, you got everything to prove and nothing to lose.
Yeah, he was in Rahway State Prison. He was 19-2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of his fights were in the prison. It's awesome.
Yeah.
He had a bunch of fights in 74 and 75, and then he went to prison. So then he started fighting for Wide World of Sports in 78. 78 to 81, fought everybody and just beat the shit out of all of them.
That's good for him.
Yeah, good on him, man.
Love that stuff.
I did, man. I loved it.
I agree. All right, well, let's take a break.
All right.
And we'll come back and we'll talk about more stuff. We'll talk about this guy. This guy sums it all up here for the heroes of back in the day, the real Evel Knievels of the world.
All right.
Stephen Piercy with Arcade.
All right.
When you ain't got nothing, you got nothing to lose.
Right, pal.
All right. Well, here it is. It's Stephen Piercy exclusively here
on your Classic Metal Show.
Hi, this is Stephen Piercy. We're going to go round and round on the Classic Metal Show.